This is part 2 of switching the code path with switch, and that's not a great title, but everything happens in our switch statement. But this really is about reading a line of text from a file, breaking it up into its fields or tokens, and then storing the fields into a structure type variable so that we can do processing with it later. It's like creating our own little collection of records or our own little database, so to speak. And so let's go and take a look. So if this doesn't look familiar, then you should go back and watch part 1. I think it's video number 9 in this series. And or if you just need a refresher, go back and watch video number 9 or part 1. Okay, so you see on the screen here where we got to in part 1, where we can see that the case labels in the switch statement are sensing which token we're on and printing out the information that we've pulled out of our line of text buffer with the string talk call. And let me just go ahead and pull up the code, and let me jump down here, and you'll notice line 49, we get the line of text from the file. We put it in the line of text character array, which is declared up here at line 40. And you've already seen all of this, but just as a reminder. And then we set up a PCH as a pointer to a char, and then we call string talk on line of text, and we say return all the characters up until you get to the comma. That's the first field. And PCH now points at the first field. Then we enter the while loop, and then we enter the switch statement. And since we're at token number 1, that's the date. And then we do token 2, 3, 4, 5, and subsequent loops. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to actually extract the date rather than just printing it. And then we're going to copy it to the structure. So I went back and restored a couple lines, 5 and 6. This wasn't in the code for part 1, but I went ahead and put them in now. So date length is 10, check no length is 4. And in the structure, I have 3 arrays: date, check no, description, and then a single character variable called cleared flag, and then the double field called amount. And the +1 is so that we make room for the date and the terminating null character that we're going to write in there when we do the copy, so on and so forth. Then down here at line 39, I've added the transaction variable. So the way that we access these fields in here is txn.date.checkno.description, and so on. Okay, so let's do the actual extraction. And I'm going to use a C library routine called string end copy. So this is the destination where we're copying characters to. This is where we're getting the characters from. Both of these are pointers to characters. And this is how many characters we want to copy. And then I want to set the first location after the date to the null character, and that's how we terminate a valid C string. And that's how that's done. And then I want to print out, just using printf, and I can say %s because it's a character array terminated with a null. And instead of using PCH, now I'm actually going to get this data out of the structure I just copied it into. And it looks like I have missed a trailing double quote there. All right, so let me run this. Okay, so now the first thing you notice is we're printing the date twice. The second thing you notice is that this date is kind of chopped up. It starts with a double quote, and we lost the one character after 2021. All right, well, before we go and fix that, just keep that in the back of your mind. Let's go take a look at the string end copy library routine. So string end copy copies characters from one string and to another. Copies the first num characters of source to destination. So here's the source, here's the destination, and num is over here. So we're copying from here, or from source to destination. Okay, and we can get into more detail as we go. The destination is a pointer to the destination array, also known as a pointer to char. The source is the C string to be copied, also known as pointer to char. And num is the maximum number of characters to be copied from the source to the destination buffer. And here's some example code. All right, so let's go fix our problem. So why are we getting the double quote and why are we losing the last digit of the 4-digit year? So if we go take a look at line 21, before the first call to string talk, this is our line in the buffer called line of text that we read from the file. And reality is there's a double quote, and then the date comes, and then there's a closing double quote, and then there's the comma for the separating of fields. So obviously, we have the double quote, and we want the character right after it. So what we do there is we can do some simple pointer arithmetic. PCH, which stands for pointer to char, is pointing at the first character, the double quote. So I'll say +1, and that way we'll just start pointing, or we'll start our copy while I'm pointing at the 0 digit rather than the double quote. Okay, so let's see, I'll recompile it, and we'll see how that works. And now when we run it, we have a nice clean date. And so if that's the case, then I'll go ahead and get rid of the extra printing, which is right here at line 59. I'll just get rid of that. That was kind of my initial printing statement. And now I should not get a double print of that line. And so we got one date at the top, and in the next video, we'll tackle the amount.